Please state your name, sir.
Nicholas McCarthy. I'm here with the film At the Devil's Door.
Okay. And so, Nicholas McCarthy, what is it about the use of space that's been a very common feature of your film? A lot of people talk about your use of dimensions of an empty road.
Space in a horror film is very important, the physical space. And I first became aware of that when I was a kid and I saw the movie Night of the Living Dead, the original film from the 1960s, which was a very small, low budget black and white movie, and they shot, maybe 80-90% of the thing inside a house. You have one location, but that there was an advantage to it, which is it made the film claustrophobic, and that was the very first zombie movie. So there was that idea of that there was a space, there was something happening outside the walls of the set, and that made the movie frightening for the entire running time that the characters were in there. And I think that was, for me, watching that film, a kind of primal scene in some ways. That it got me thinking about that in a horror film, it's an advantage to have a sense of there's something that you can't see off screen. So in these first two features that I've made, The Pact and then this new one, I always wanted to show the walls. And in the first film I made, The Pact, we decorated those walls to emphasize them. We used wallpaper, or we painted with kind of elaborate or kind of off-kilter colors. And in this movie, I wanted to call attention to the walls of empty houses. And so we chose to feature really kind of stark white or off-white walls, which was a challenge for us to make look interesting. But it was another way of trying to emphasize this idea of there's something beyond this thing that's around the character. And it comes originally from Night of the Living Dead, but just that sense of claustrophobia, that you're kind of boxed in, characters are boxed in, and I think it just works for the genre.
Do you yourself experience any fear of confined space or lacking escape?
I'm not claustrophobic, but I think what the films that I've made might point to is this interest in looking at the spaces that I exist in as an adult versus as a child. In both these features I've made, the homes that you see are homes that were either that were once occupied by a family, and you see these remnants of it. You see wallpaper that's outdated, or a room where there's like one object, a wardrobe that's left and nothing else. I relate to that in just as a grown person who sometimes feels, odd when I go back to my childhood home, and that was the kind of thing that I was trying to evoke with both these movies.
Is that why the film was originally supposed to be called Home before it was changed?
Well, the movie is called Home internationally for the most part. It was sold internationally under the title Home, and it was changed to At the Devil's Door in North America by IFC, because when IFC bought the movie, they said, we want to change the title. There's a huge DreamWorks animated movie coming out called Home. And so I still like to believe that there's going to be a scenario where there's going to be, in some other country, some little kid is going to want to watch the cartoon, and then he or she dials up my movie on the video on demand or whatever, and is traumatized for life. But that's the real reason that we changed it. And I came up with the title At the Devil's Door, which I like as much as Home. They both have different meanings when you see the movie, because the title cards come up in two particular places in the movie, at the beginning and at the end. But they're set into the film in a particular place. They don't just open the movie. There's a scene, and then there's a title card, and at the end of the movie there's the final scene, there's a title card, and each of the titles has a slightly different meaning in the context of when you're watching the movie, which I thought was kind of a cool thing.